Hello. Today's book is The Driver's Seat by Muriel Spark. So, this is it's a short novel. There's, four novels in this volume. So, The Driver's Seat is a mere 70 pages long. And in that, it's kind of like I often refer to relationships that people get in with one another as arriving late to the scene of the accident, which means everything else that has gone on to injure and mess up that person to that point is something that is already there. There's nothing you could do about it, and you're late to the scene of the accident. So, in very much that sort of a thing with this novel, in that we come into it, it's only 70 pages, and we come into it at the very end of something that could be, I don't know, a couple more 100 pages if we were going to get the whole exposition and the whole psychology of this main character, this woman named Lise, Lise. She's what we do know is she's a office worker, I guess was accountant firm or something like that, and she's going on a holiday. She's sort of a middle management person. She's not the top and she's not the bottom. She's somewhere in the middle. She's, it's all kind of a mediocrity of everything around her in a way. So she goes on this holiday and sits down. Right away, she finds somebody she wants to latch onto in the queue getting onto the plane. So she sees a man who she wants to, who she considers her type, and she's going to latch onto him, stands quite near him, and ends up sitting beside him at the in the 3-seat of the plane. And she's in the middle, and this other guy sits beside her, and the other guy is kind of moving on her. He thinks she's his type. So whereas the first guy is not paying any attention. So what goes on is the first guy strikes up a conversation and puts his hand on her knee. He's very aggressive. This is 1970. And she, doesn't particularly move it off. She doesn't particularly say no, but the other guy, the third guy, sees this, and the one that she is following, and he gets up and goes and sits somewhere else, and she's quite concerned about what's going on with him from then on. So we meet this guy, Bill, who sits beside her, and Bill has an agenda. Bill is selling something. Bill actually wants to help, and I think Bill comes out to be just sort of a fool, and I would take this to mean that whoever is wanting to help, who is offering a cure, somewhat magical cure in this case, is a fool, and that we are really kind of foolish to follow along with them. There are so many things that the medical industry sells us that is going to help make us better. Certain things trending now that I've already talked about before, that, we'll do this outlandish procedure on you to change you and make you feel better, and therefore your life is going to be better. So Bill is kind of, it's written in 1970, so Bill is kind of from that era and from that approach to women. He's kind of he's a man, and he's a man that's not been truncated, trained, learned how to behave through the feminist wave of that era. None of which is going on in the novel, except by my projection. So she checks into the hotel, and various things go on, and it comes to a rather ghastly ending when she does really connect with her type, and gets what she wants, while I guess she's imagining that her type is getting what he wants too. It's sort of like that in the setup. So how did I come by this book? Why did I read this book? I'd actually read The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie before. I completely forget it because it's so mixed up with the really wonderful film that was quite popular when I was young. It just came out, and Maggie Smith, I guess, is in it, and she got the Oscar, and it's a terrific movie. Actually, I should review it so I can sing the song. Jean, Jean, roses are red, all the leaves are... No, I'm not supposed to. I can't. Anyway, I'll sing something else. Let Hertz put you in the driver's seat today. So yeah, it is kind of a what do we say, agency, a story of someone taking control, getting in the driver's seat, taking control of their life, and we see what she does with the control she takes of her life after being in this middle management position through all these years. She's in her mid to late 30s, I guess. Starts out with her buying a dress to go on her holiday, a dress and a coat, and it's flashy colors of the era, I guess. And the sales lady, no, you shouldn't wear that coat with this dress. And she said, I'm going to, and so she does. And so she's, is dressed in this flashy manner, and I think that might be one of the indicators to Bill that she might be a swinger. She might be one of his marks. So Bill's this sort of fool that's keeps trailing her, wants to meet up with her. He sort of bowls ahead. So you're going to meet me at the hotel at 7 tonight, and they're going to a Ford. So we're going to meet me in the hotel 7 tonight, and we're going to have a drink. And basically, he wants to have sex with her. And later, it comes out that he has this thing where he wants to have sex needs to have sex every day. It's part of his Region 7, something like that. He's into macrobiotics, and he tries to convince her of macrobiotics. So I guess if he was going to analyze the story, which I thought about doing, I thought, what if I do a review in the character as one of the characters? And he seems to think, well, the problem with you is you have too much yang with your yin yang balance, and you need to eat more of this or this or that, So that's, he's going to fix things. So it's his means of control in, the chaos of our modern life, which it's all about finding control and taking charge in the chaos of life. She does it in this rather ghastly way, and he's, going along trying to fix himself and fix other people and sell this thing to others as a way of making a living, which is another way of fixing things and security and making everything happy. So, a thing about this book is, well, to introduce a spoiler. It's actually a kind of it's a suicide story, and but it's not a suicide just by one's own hand, and So in that way, she isn't really even moral at the end, as I guess I said in the Bartleby video, that there are several means of taking one's own life, ending, having the agency of ending, and one can jump in front of a subway train. One can propel their car to, as fast as they can, and smash go flying off the cliff. One can take a gun, and all these sort of violent means, and some of them that draw other people into your situation and implicate them in the death. It's not kind to jump in front of a subway train. One, it might not work. I read a novel, a book, sort of memoir novel, very slim, some years ago, called Godhead, where the guy actually did that, and the real guy that wrote the book, and it didn't really work. He just screwed himself up more. So it has that question going on of what does one do, and in this case, she kind of brutally picks someone who's already damaged. His own accident has happened, and at least that's the implication of the story. And she has him involved in her ending of her own life. So in a way, she's comes out as kind of criminal, because we don't know what happens after that, because it's all set up to appear. She has him do this and that and this and that and this and that to appear as if it's a real murder. And so there's going to be a problem for this guy, if there wasn't already, in what went on between them. So the driver's seat, it's a wild story. It's a wild story of kind of chaos. There's a riot in the street that just sort of happens along the story, where they're going from one place to another, and a bunch of young men are running, and the cops are chasing them, and there's it's sort of a 60s era war protest, or something along those lines. So it's kind of whirlwind of chaos and times that aren't necessarily definable, and or things that we don't particularly understand going on, and how this character, she doesn't really get affected by any of it. It's all just sort of happens around her. She's very, very kind of flat. She doesn't express much emotion other than you're my type, which is, I prefer this one, or I prefer this one, and I prefer this to do this, and that's what it is. So it could I don't think it's particularly well, I don't know. It's like another thing I think about sometimes is how women like what the hell was that story? The Idol, the HBO series, The Idol, where it involved the ultimate of that was there's this abusive relationship by this guy who was controlling this young singer, and physically abuses her, and he's sexual. It's BDSM. So all this stuff goes on, and ultimately the wrap up of it all, written by two men, was that, basically she was in control. She wanted it, and she was topping from the bottom. So there are certain things about that in this, and it can be looked at like that the women want to be slaughtered by men, or in an insane situation. That's how they're gaining control. The topping from bottom. So that's kind of a weird concept that I'll leave you with, and you can chew on that one and think about it. But so there's 4 other novels in this little volume, and I probably will read Prime of Miss Jean Brodie again, because I really love the movie. It's really terrific, and a couple other of them are look attractive to me, interesting to me after I read this really kind of fun John O'Hara book about this movie star that I picked up on the outside and the front of the Strand, where after I abandoned money, a suicide note. Speaking of suicide, money was just horrible. I couldn't deal with the guy. It's too much drinking, and it's in the way that a little bit of that is a little bit too close to home, and some people that I know that are or have known that are unfortunately on a treadmill like that of that kind of addiction that is horrifying. Maybe you don't know. I should cut out the knows. It's a addiction that is, well, some of us think horrifying. So, Muriel Spark and The Driver's Seat. Interesting read. Not a big investment, in 70 pages, and you can put yourself in the driver's seat if you want. Talk to you later.